Hi guys, I'm Kasia. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies and horror, and today I'm here to talk to you about Pray for the Devil.
It's coffee time!
So Pray for the Devil is one of the new exorcism movies and it just came out here in the Netherlands, so I decided to go and watch it kind of with low expectations because it's been a while since I've watched an exorcism movie that has really blown me away. It might be because of my absolute love for the original Exorcist, and it is really hard to top that. So Pray for the Devil is an American supernatural horror film that is basically bringing back exorcisms, and they're trying to do something different. But I feel like in some ways it kind of backfired. So let's talk about it spoiler free. Also, let me mention that the movie is directed by Daniel Stamm, who already did The Last Exorcism, so I feel like he likes this material. But I feel like with this one, it kind of didn't work out as well as he expected. The movie follows a nun who trains as an exorcist under the Roman Catholic Church and confronts demonic possessions. The Roman Catholic Church combats a global rise in demonic possessions by reopening schools to train priests to perform exorcisms. This job is mostly just offered to male, and it's always been like that. However, the professor at this school, he sees something in Sister Anne. He recognizes potential talent for this, and so he decides to allow her to learn from him in order to confront these demons in the demonic possessions. Especially since the demon that they're dealing with seems to go after Sister Anne. It's targeting her for some reason, and so they decide it's better if she learns so she can actually confront it. Now, when the movie started, I was kind of happy of where things were going in a way, because I liked that we were going to get introduced to the school for exorcists and we're going to see how they are being taught, and I thought that would be a cool thing to see. But unfortunately we don't get to see much of that particular part of the learning in the school, or at least the bits that we saw were not extremely exciting to me. When you go into an exorcism movie, you're already expecting A, that good people are gonna be targeted for a demon possession. B, we're gonna have a priest that is either conflicted or is in a spiritual crisis. And C, we're gonna have a demon that we're gonna have to figure out whose demon is it, why is he here. So that's kind of like the mix, and this movie has all of these things. However, Pray for the Devil is more a movie about an exorcist than the exorcism itself. Sister Anne is our main character. She comes from a not so good childhood. She has a lot of childhood trauma. She was abused by her mother, and her character is trying to be the first female exorcist. That's basically what's going on. Unfortunately, I do not feel like the actress they picked for this character was the right choice. I felt like, especially in the scenes where she had a more dramatic performance, it didn't come through. There were so many scenes and so many moments where I thought that I was watching a teenager going to high school or something, and it's staying in a dorm. Like, it gave me those kind of vibes, which are not really good. I wish we would have seen more of the school, more of the things they do, and more of the cases they've had and all of that. I thought that was the interesting part, and we didn't really get to see too much of that. Also, I googled this school. Apparently it does not exist, which is really disappointing because I was hoping this was going to be a real thing. Or maybe it does exist, but we just don't know about it. There are some scenes, some moments that actually contradict each other. I cannot go into detail because I would be spoiling you certain scenes. But there are some things that they say and they do, and then they contradict each other later. And that was kind of a turn off for me as well. Also, and not gonna spoil anything, but there is a big question mark, a big mystery regarding the demon that is hunting Sister Anne, that it's never explained, never fully explored. So when you get to the end, you feel a little bit like it was all for nothing because you're not getting the answers to the big questions that this movie is presenting to you at the beginning. So you're trying to figure out why certain things are happening, and that's the fun part of movies, trying to figure out why things are happening. and then see if you were right or wrong and maybe be surprised. But it's really bad when you don't get any answers at all. They're using this exorcism and this demon as a device just to put some characters through misery for no purpose, apparently. Also, when it comes to plot twists, you see them coming a mile away, I can tell you that. And there is also a lot of jump scares, so there's that. You can see the influence from the movie The Exorcist, which I understand it's, you know, the best exorcism movie out there. Fight me. And you can see the influences, and I feel like the director really loves this subgenre of horror, but I felt like with this movie he did not achieve what he was trying to do. There are positive things about this film as well. Not everything is negative, but unfortunately the negative does overshadow the good parts. The good parts for me came with some special effects and some moments that I thought were cool. They looked nice. It was kind of like a good thing to see in an exorcism movie. So there were some horror elements to it that I really enjoyed, and other ones that were really cliche and expected and not so impressive. Now, this movie is one of those that it is PG-13, but it did give a lot of horror. I feel like other movies, when they are PG-13, they are a little bit scared to show too much, to go too far. And I feel like this movie didn't really hold back, and it did make use of that rating to the fullest. And I feel like it has a lot of horror in it, so if you are scared that maybe this movie is not gonna have enough, fear not, it does have a lot of horror. Now, it is hard to add anything to this subgenre of horror because you already expect a demon, you already expect them, you know, to read the Bible, and you already expect them to use holy water, all of these things. Like, it's not really bringing anything new to the genre at all. But like I said, some of the scenes about the exorcism and some of the possession moments, there were some scenes that were really good and that looked good and I really enjoyed, and other ones not so much, especially the jump scares. You know, I'm not a fan, as you know, of cheap jump scares, and this movie has some of them. And there's also like a layer of real horror in this movie, which is the abuse that Sister Anne received from her mother when she was a kid, and those scenes were the hardest ones to see. Nobody wants to see a kid being abused. So there are some aspects of trauma and real horror from real life added to the film, but I also don't feel like they did take that to the next level where they should have, so that it would have a more impact when it comes to the message that the movie was trying to bring across. They were trying to do something with that trauma, you know, the grief, the loneliness, but I don't feel like they explored it well enough that it added something to this subgenre, to this exorcism tale. It's almost as if the movie is really trying to be a movie about female empowerment, and then it failed. That's kind of how it felt for me as well. It's not really scary, even though some of the horror moments were well executed, but I didn't feel like it was scary. I didn't feel like the mystery was there. So there is not too many good things going for this film. At the end of the day, you guys, I gave this movie a 2 out of 5 because I felt like it recycled a lot from other movies, didn't really have much new to offer, and there were certain things that could have worked really well, but they were not properly executed, and it just ended up falling flat. And this is another one of those movies that has kind of like a double ending that I despised. Same thing that happened to me with The Initiation. I don't know what's going on with these movies. They're trying to do something cool at the end, and it's just like, can we not? So anyways, these were my spoiler-free thoughts on the movie Pray for the Devil. Let me know down below if you've already watched it, what you thought of it, are you planning on watching it, and let me know if there's any exorcism movie that you really love, that you could say this is one of the best ones, because maybe I just missed some that were really good and they're still out there for me to discover. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye.